Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm bringing you another installment of Honey Drop Stories where I'm not really talking about tarot per se, but just the kind of amazing things that have led me to this moment with you, led me on my spiritual path and my journey. And this one is kind of a doozy, and it has to do with the person that I spoke about, the friend that I spoke about in my story about synchronicities, and I'll attach the link to that in the description below. Essentially, that story was about a playing card, a very special playing card that showed up at a very synchronous moment, and was one of the most astounding things I'd ever experienced with another person. This playing card that was basically alluded to by spirit through another tarot reader on YouTube, kind of found its way to my ears and into my life in a very physical and tangible way. And the friend that I was with was also witness to that experience. And that story called into question, kind of the nature of our connections with one another and why we're supposed to experience synchronicities. What does it all mean? So unfortunately, the friend from that story has since passed away, and we were not speaking at the end, I guess. We hadn't spoken for about a year, and I don't need to get into the reasons why, but he was going through a lot of things, and I just had to do what I tell so many people on my channel to do when I channel these messages, which is that sometimes people can't come with us. Sometimes we have to let people follow their own path and go on their own journey. And that's what I decided to do with that friend. And unfortunately, he passed away. So, and it's pretty recent from when I am recording this video. And I've been upset, I've been sad, as many people who knew him were, are, and continue to be. Just questioning why, why was I supposed to meet this person? I only knew him, he was a coworker of mine, and I only knew him for about 2.5 years. And we'd gotten really close, and we bonded over tarot. That was the crazy part about it. He was very supportive of my exploration into tarot and spirituality, and he was just like right there with me during that process. So when he passed away, like anybody that passes away suddenly, you start asking yourself a lot of questions. Why him? Why did I need to know this person? What significance? Not that we have to place significance on everything, but I tend to do that as a spiritual person. And I look for meaning, and usually I find it. So I wanted to tell you this story of how he's shown up in my life in these miraculous ways since he's passed away. So I read tarot, and I consider myself clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, claircognizant, but I would not necessarily consider myself like a fortune teller or anything like that, although people have told me some of the things that I've channeled through spirit have come true. That's for them to attest to. But crazy things have happened. Crazy things have happened to all of us. So when this friend passed away, it was the first time that I had ever really known anyone since my spiritual awakening that passed away, that I've known personally, and who understood that I had a spiritual side, who understood that I had a connection to the divine in a very particular way. And so, of course, the first thing I did was I prayed to him. And I gave him a piece of my mind too. Grief makes us feel crazy things, and it's not just sadness. There's also anger and frustration and confusion wrapped up in all of that. So I gave him a piece of my mind, that's for sure. And it's like me to do that with him. And but of course I prayed for his soul to be at peace and for him to be at peace. But then I asked him, I said, once you've kind of figured all of it out, come back and be my spiritual guide, my spirit guide, my protector. Come back and make sure that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm leading myself on the path of what I'm supposed to be doing, and help me to discover even more that I'm supposed to be doing, right, to help people. So it kind of is crazy. I've been thinking about it for weeks of how to explain what happened, so I'm just bear with me. I'm just going to do the best that I can. This story basically involves 3 particular tarot readers and spiritual mediums on YouTube. One, and I talk about these people, so one is San Tarot, one who is one of the most incredible readers I've ever experienced, as she's so much of a tarot teacher. I do not know her personally. One is Mariana at MN Tarot, who is a friend of San's, who I discovered through San, because she has a very big subscriber base. So when San recommends somebody, I'm gonna watch that person, and Mariana's wonderful. And then IScry with Steph, and that's Stephanie, who I have talked to, who gave me permission to tell this story, and who is one of, I haven't met her in person, but I've talked to her on the phone, and she's just everything that she appears to be on her channel. Just so genuine, so loving, so full of wonder and mystery and grace and humility, and she's just awesome. IScry with Steph. So yes, I'm plugging these people. They don't need to be plugged. I mean, they have a following, so that's great. But they are part of this story. I've never met them in person. San and Steph live in Canada, and Mariana, I believe, is from Argentina. I hope I got that right. I believe she's from Argentina, South America. So my friend passed away on a Sunday, or I was told rather on a Sunday, and on the following Monday, when we're all just kind of swimming in confusion and grief at my workplace, just amongst friends. Many of my friends and family had met this friend that passed, and so everyone was just in a state of shock. And I was trying to make sense of it, and going between crying about it and laughing at memories of him and everything in between. And thinking about the first honey drop story that I posted here. It was about a month before he passed away, and Spirit would not let it go. Like, they wanted me to tell that story, and I couldn't figure out why. And because of that story, this is what I believe, my friend reached out to me after a year of not talking. I believe he saw that story, and he reached out to me to say wonderful things, actually, to tell me that he was proud of me, that, you know, he knows that we had kind of left on bad terms and, you know, trying to make amends. And I didn't write him back because, you know, when you let go of somebody, you have to let go. And sometimes I regret it, sometimes I don't. But he wrote to me, so in a way, Spirit wanted him to see that I had remembered that story about that playing card that had so beautifully arrived in our lives at such a synchronous time. So the same week that my friend passes away, I need to backtrack a little. The thing that's relevant here, there's so many things that are relevant, but the person that we bonded over was San Tarot. As I was starting to learn tarot and he was picking it up as well, I started to watch San. This was years ago. And I said, you got to listen to this lady. Like, she's crazy amazing. She's so psychic. Like, she's so connected. I don't know how she's so connected, but she's so connected. I can't figure it out. It's like she's inside your head. You know, she's so gifted. Her gift is straight from the universe. I can't say enough about San Tarot. I wish I could meet her someday, but I can't say enough about her. But anyway, he and I bonded over San Tarot, and so that becomes relevant in the story. So the same week that he passes away, San and Mariana meet each other for the first time, and they document this on YouTube. And Mariana had traveled all the way up from South America to visit San. And it's just this wonderful thing, because it's almost like they're like tarot best friends, you know? They appeared on her channel together, and you could just see the love. You could just see it. You could see how palpable that love was between friends. And so I was really happy for them that they got to meet each other and hang out. And lo and behold, later that week, they travel, I don't know how far away San and Stephanie live, but they travel across Canada to meet IScry with Steph. They meet Stephanie and, you know, my friend. And I'm so proud to call her my friend, even though we've never met in person. She's absolutely someone that I love. So these three ladies meet each other. They also meet Awakening to Spirit, if you've ever watched that channel, with Cindy, who's also astounding. So all these lovely tarot ladies, and mystics and mediums and channelers, they all meet each other in the same week. And I'm just watching this unfold as like a, you know, a subscriber and, you know, a voyeur in a sense, is that's what we all are on YouTube. I'm just, you know, I'm not really a jealous person, but oh, so jealous. I just wanted to meet, these are like my heroes. You know, we all have heroes in life, and these are like my heroes. The fact that they all got to kind of have coffee or break bread, have conversation just between these amazing women. It's like, oh, to be a fly on that wall, right? So that's happening while my week at work is progressing, and I'm trying to function like a normal person and focus, and it's very difficult. And I'm getting asked, first of all, people are giving me their condolences, which I really appreciated, but, you know, they were saying, well, we know how close you guys were, and it's like, it was so confounding to me. Like, did people really understand how close we were? But I guess they did. And, you know, I'm being asked questions of, you know, should we get this kind of signature booklet for his family so our staff can write messages and all these beautiful things. But it was like a whirlwind trying to act like a normal person and pretend like I wasn't grieving. Not that I had to pretend, but I think I was trying to pretend for myself. So on a Wednesday, so my friend was a rather famous chef, and so famous for our area and a little beyond, you know, like he's very well known. He's a very accomplished person. And so the local magazine in my area wrote an article about him and posted it online. And so on Wednesday of that week, I read this article, and I'll be honest with you, it just pissed me off. It just made me so, like, as if I wasn't already frustrated and angry. I was so angry at it, because how do you really sum up a life in like 5 paragraphs? I mean, I read this article and it just didn't feel like my friend, like in any way. And then I realized, this 5 paragraph article is more than a lot of people get. If they get an obituary or anything at all, they don't get 5 paragraphs in a magazine, right? So it was just crazy. But like, I read this article and I was just like doing this, rolling my eyes and just being very belligerent about the whole thing. Anyway, so either that day or the next day, San and Mariana meet Stephanie in this beautiful coalescing. It's like the 3 of Cups, right? It's just this beautiful coming together of spirits, spirit beings. And so I reached out to Stephanie and I said, I just texted her and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited that you and San got to meet each other and meet Mariana, and how was it? And I'm so happy for you. And I had purchased a excuse me. Sorry, my throat chakra is starting to close. It's still hard to talk about, I guess. I was really lost, and even tarot readers need some guidance sometimes. And I have so much trust in Stephanie that I purchased a private reading from her. And so when I texted her, I said, oh, so wonderful, you got to meet San and Mariana. And by the way, I purchased a private reading from you. It's not a rush or anything, but an old friend passed away this week, and I would love any messages that Spirit has for me that I can't really access right now because I'm just in a state of confusion. And of course, Stephanie, in her beauty, offers me her condolences and then starts to say things like, was this and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't really remember every single word verbatim, but she asked me, oh, by the way, was it a man that passed away? And I said, yes. And she said, because this is the thing, Stephanie can see ghosts. She can see spirits. She can actually physically see them. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to speak for her, but she can see them. And wow. I hope it's okay to tell the story. I asked permission, and I felt compelled to say it, so I'm gonna try and continue. Let me just light some candles here. So she says, was it a gentleman that passed away? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, did he have facial hair? I'm not sure if she asked me if he had a beard or a mustache. She definitely asked me if he had some kind of facial hair. And I said, yes. Yes, he did. And she kind of said, I've been seeing 2 versions of a man who has not identified himself to me, but he has been lingering around all week. And of course, when she said this to me, I totally got freaked out, but also excited. And I was like, what do you mean? What guy? What do you mean? And she said the first version of this man that she saw was looking down at something, and he was reading a newspaper or reading something. And it's like he had a furrowed brow, or he had a grimace on his face. Whatever he was reading, he wasn't really happy with. And I started laughing. I was just texting her. She was voice memoing me. And I said, that's so hilarious, because I basically just read this like article honoring his life and I hated it. And so it would make sense if he also hated it. And then she told me that the second version of this man that she saw, she said he was up in the clouds and he was with God. And she doesn't really use terminology like that very much, even like on her channel, really, that I've literally watched every video on her channel. But she said he was with God, and that just gave me so much comfort. And I don't know what he believed in, but it was comforting to me to know that he was with something good. And so I said, let me show you a picture of him. And so I showed her a picture, and she said, that's him. That's the guy I saw. So I told her his name, and I said, has he been bothering you? I hope he hasn't been bothering you. And she laughed, and she said that's not how it works for her. And she kind of likened it to like, he's over there. He's kind of down the way, like he's sitting over there. And that he made his presence known. And that it coincided with San, the reader that we bonded with. It coincided with San's visit. And honestly, at that point, my brain started to kind of melt, because what are the odds? What if we think about kind of divine timing, and what is meant for you will never pass you by, that kind of thinking, which I absolutely believe in now more than ever. I asked myself the question, why did I meet this man? Why did I meet this human? Why did I know him for such a short period of time, bond with him over things like this, only to have him not in my life anymore? What was the purpose, Spirit? And I kept saying, what was the purpose? And then San and Mariana meet Stephanie, and Stephanie sees my friend who's passed, and kind of conversations between these three ladies. And it dawned on me the level of synchronicity that had to happen. It's like all of these cogs clicking into place, where Spirit moved particular people in a certain sequence so that it would coalesce to this very moment, at that very moment that I was realizing, here now I had a soul that I cared about and loved on the other side. And it's very weird how my voice fluctuated there. It sounded like I was going to start crying, but I really wasn't. It's like my voice is feeling weak right now. I don't know why. Spirit wanted me to tell this story, so I hope that it's okay. I've asked permission, and I don't know. Maybe I hope that I end up publishing this. But what I realized is, okay, I have this friend on the other side. So I asked him very specifically, send me a message through San. Because the way that she reads, you just have to watch her. You have to watch her to really understand. I can't, it's hard to explain. She's very conceptual. She gives her readings in metaphor and in concept. So I said, send me a message through San. And I didn't think that San and Mariana were going to post any readings because they were traveling around Canada and just having friend time. And lo and behold, they post a reading. And it's hard to describe because the significance of it is all in my head. And even trying to communicate it to you is very poor. It's the translation, I can't translate the profundity of all of it. I wish I could. Essentially, the reading that they put out talked about three people, 3 spirits, 3 individuals. 2 were opening a door, and 1 was being sent through. And sorry, I just kind of felt something. So 1 was being sent through, and it wasn't enough that they were going through to this other realm, but that they wanted to go beyond that realm. So of course I interpreted this as my friend going through to the next phase of experience in life after death, but that it wasn't good enough. That it wasn't good enough for him to just experience the afterlife. And he was kind of an extreme person, and it made so much sense to me that he'd want to go even further. And the whole message of San and Mariana's reading was that eventually he would kind of return and communicate what he had seen in that space to allow others to come through. So it was really crazy, and I cried. I cried when I watched that reading, and I knew that something was going to shift for me, for my spiritual experience, and feeling connected to him as a spirit, feeling connected to others in a different way. It's absolutely changed me as a person. It's only been like a month. Has it even been a month? I think that it has. A couple days ago was a month. And since then, I've asked him for signs and synchronicities. And there have been several. Ear ringing, of course. Strange things happening at my job that have kind of a little spooked some people, like lights going out when they shouldn't have, and ear ringing for people that don't usually experience ear ringing, that kind of thing. But the most significant one, and the one that I will leave you with, so I had a nickname for this friend. He's always going to be Chef, right? When you work with a lot of chefs, you just call him Chef. He's always going to be Chef. But I had this nickname for him because he was always like the poster boy for my job, because he's, big shot chef, and he was kind of a trailblazer of sorts. And he was always in the promotional ads and promotional photographs, and always on our website and all these kinds of things. And I just would like roll my eyes at it. Here we go again. All right. And there was this one time, there was a picture of him in the kitchen, and he looked rather nice in that photo. And I just made fun of him though, because I had a conversation with him once, and I said, "Who do you think you are, Mr. GQ?" And he laughed at that, because he did not think of himself in that way in any way. He never did. And it's too bad, but he never did. But I always called him that. So either I called him Chef or I called him GQ. And it was just this inside joke between us. So a couple weeks ago, I was on my way to another town. So I was taking a train, and an Amtrak train. And this particular day, it's like all of travel had a meltdown, and just all this like switchboards and whatever went down for air travel, not so much for train travel. But I never go anywhere. And this one particular day, like everything travel related had to wreak havoc in the United States. And I prayed to my friend. And I said, you better make sure that I get to my destination on time, that I get there safely, that I get to meet up with my friend who's meeting me, you know, in this town. Like, make sure that I get there on time. You need to show me a sign that you're protecting me and that I'm going to get there. And my mom's giving me a ride to the train station. We pull out of the garage of my apartment building, and the very, very, very first car that I see has a license plate that says GQ. And that's all it says, GQ. And my friend was protecting me, and I got to that town on time, like by like a minute. There was no delay. And it was pretty incredible. I hope this story made sense. I hope that it just kind of shows you how miracles are happening all the time, and that even our loved ones in spirit are connecting with us if we want them to. So I hope that all of you are well, and I'll see you next time.